Big stories in technology, and certainly this week there wasn't a lot bigger than the Galaxy Unpacked event, the annual Samsung event, or semi-annual, duo-annual? I don't know what the right word is to say. I'm just saying it's a big event that just happened. Let's skip past that part. Let's talk about the Galaxy Buds, the Buds themselves. To do so, I'm Greg Nibbler, here with Caleb Dennison. Hello, Caleb.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good, except for that part, but let's talk about some Buds.
I tracked with you.
You did.
Fine.
You did. Everybody picked up on it.
They do a thing. They have some stuff.
They had an announcement.
We talk about it. That's what goes on.
And now let's talk about it. So
Yeah.
we have in front of us a lot of Buds for the Budoff.
We have all the Buds.
All the Buds.
All the Buds, man. You know.
What are we looking at here in front of us right now?
So I brought, we're focused on the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus. These were what were announced yesterday.
Yes.
But to kind of put them in context, I wanted to bring some of the competition out. What you'll notice here, and I actually think these are probably the closest comparison, are the Amazon Echo Buds.
Okay.
Which at about 80 bucks right now actually cost less than the Galaxy Buds Plus, and they're also quite a bit larger, if you can check that out. Mm-hmm. So again, a wide range of buds that you can look at. I've also got the AirPods 2, the second generation AirPod.
Yeah, these are the ones that came out, what, September, October?
Yeah,
like that?
A little bit earlier than that. They're a replacement for the original AirPod. You know, they've got the longer T design here, but no ear tip. All of these have ear tips that actually seal in your ear with a little silicone tip, which is a big deal when it comes to, you know, wireless buds. So even though these are closest in price to the Galaxy Buds Plus, I don't really feel like they're part of the conversation. So we're just going to remove them and set them over here. Out they go. Then you got your AirPods Pro, which are the super popular ones that just came out, smaller little T. Active noise canceling built into these guys, and you're going to spend $250 to get them, so quite a bit more expensive than the $150 Galaxy Buds Plus. However, what these guys have going on that none of these others can claim, and this was the big news, 11-hour battery life.
Which is huge.
From the time you pull them out of the case till the time you got to slap them back in, 11 hours, which is going to get you through most flights, you know, unless you're headed from the West Coast to deep Asia, in which case you might have to, you know, charge them. But guess what? They'll charge for just 3 minutes and give you an hour of playback time. So.
Wow.
Also, there's 11 hours worth of charge in the case, too. So 22 total hours before you got to charge the case up and all that. But, I mean, at $150 with battery life like that, that's kind of a big deal. Also, as you can see, they're compact. They're very, very light. You barely even know that they're in your ear, and they don't call a ton of attention to themselves. The good news is there are 3 other colorways. Black is one of them. I think there's sort of a cream, and then there's a red.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, they kind of just, they didn't say much about the colors yesterday.
Yeah, it was very quick.
It was very, very quick. But they're super, super comfortable, and, you know, they last a long time. And I'm impressed with what Samsung managed to come out. You know, they kind of bridge a gap. Here's your $85 big guy, you know, $85 big guys that, you know, don't have the kind of battery life, but kind of have noise canceling.
I was going to say, do we know what the battery life is on those?
Like it's about 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's kind of the standard, is you're going to be somewhere between 4 and 5 hours, and then you got to stick them in the case and charge them some more. And then with the AirPods Pro, again, 4.5 hours at best, but they have active noise canceling, and you can wear them on a plane, and they sound fantastic. In fact, you know those Sony over-ear noise canceling headphones that we're always going on and on and on
that
and on
we always
about?
talk about, yeah.
I swapped those out for the AirPods Pro on my recent flight down to and back from Miami, and honestly, they were just as good in the noise canceling department. And the cool thing was, I could lay my head on the side of the plane, and they didn't get in the way. You know what I mean? So I had the noise canceling and the music going on, and actually got a nap in, which I never do on a plane.
That's a pretty big statement. The fact that these equal that for those Sony headphones. Yeah,
so I mean, 250 versus 300 to 400 for the Sonys. I think that's notable.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like they're charging too much for the AirPods Pro, and you can actually get them for a little less than that right now. But the reason I bring these guys up is, again, these guys kind of sit in the middle. They're smaller, they're more compact, and they have way better battery life. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got the larger Echo Buds that do have some kind of it's like quasi noise canceling, right?
Yeah.
It's Bose technology. It's not the full-on deal, but they do seal out a little bit more noise. And then you've got the full-on, hey, I'm a pro traveler. I'm on planes all the time, and I'm constantly talking on the phone. That's where the AirPod Pros come in. So I really think that Samsung did a smart thing. The sound quality is okay.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Okay. It's not as good as the AirPods Pro. It's about on the same level as the Amazon Echo Buds, and I think it's going to be fine for a lot of people. But mostly because of the comfortable fit and that long battery life, they're super practical. I think people are going to eat these up, and also. What happens is you go into the store, you're going to buy a new phone. Chances are they're going to have these guys bundled in some way, or they're going to give you like a credit on the phone purchase if you buy an accessory, and then you can kind of get them for free, sort of. That'll eventually happen. So I think they're going to be extremely popular.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they bundle it with the new S20 or something like that, which probably could happen.
Yeah,
will happen with those. So taking a look here, I just want to kind of
yeah,
these. Like you said, they are very light. They actually have a kind of cool design. I think.
Do. They have a little sports fin. Oh, that's the other thing I want to mention. They stay in very well.
Yeah.
Even though they are light and they don't, you don't have to jam them into your ear, and they don't have something that's like going over your ear to kind of hold it in. Like the Powerbeats Pro kind of do that, right?
Right.
They do sit very well. They don't have particularly great water protection.
That was what I was going to ask, because I would think about these. Is this something that you could go work out in, or is this something you go running in? Or?
So the technical number is IPX2. You can go look at that. It's like the least amount of protection you can have. But I don't think that people are going to have a problem with sweat getting inside them and causing a huge problem. They say they can take a splash or a misting and they'll be okay. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely use these to work out. There is no, and this is true of all four that we had up here, there's no kind of fitness tracking involved.
Okay.
We do see like the Jabra Elite Active 65T will do your pulse.
Okay.
And work with an app to kind of track your training and your activity while you're working out or on a long bike ride or whatever. None of these really do that. They're not using any biometric data that they're gathering by being in your ear. It's just a simple, you want to listen to music, you want to listen to podcasts, you're a commuter, you don't want to have big bulky headphones. $150, man.
Yeah.
What can I say? I think that's a pretty solid product. Sits right in the middle of all these other guys with the best battery life that you can get right now, which they're going to lean on pretty hard.
Was that just because of that? Well, I know that we need to get to a break, but is that because of the new chips?
I'm not sure exactly what they did to change it. I don't think they put a much bigger battery in it because they're certainly not bigger buds.
Right.
And they're still nice and light. It could be that the Bluetooth Low Energy chip that they've got in there, they've got it, they reduced some of the bass response maybe a little bit so it wasn't so power hungry. I'm not sure exactly how they got there because they went from like 5 or 6 hours to 11 hours. They more than doubled the battery life with these. So they figured it out somehow, and they work very well. So I think if you're wondering about, hey, what's the right earbud for me, unless you're on a plane constantly or in a really loud construction zone, they're a great option. Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've got some comparison stuff that's up online too at digitaltrends.com, so people can take a look if you're curious to dig into these a little bit more and find out some more info.